And hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magical Journey Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Ian Cahoon, and tonight we got a little bit of a change. My original guest could not make it. There was a family emergency that came up, and we had to postpone that. But I have something special planned for you guys tonight as my backup. So stay with me for a few moments and I will let you know about that. But first, before we get started, um, I want to, let's see here. I need to find, boom, there it is. This little guy right here is the QR code to magicaljourneypodcast.com. And if you scan that, it'll put you in touch with the website where all things Magical Journey are housed at, including Magical Merch, which is the sponsor of the show. And I'm sporting one of my new caps right now. So get on there, check it out, look at the new merch. It's worth checking out, I assure you. And I'm adding new merch all the time. So keep up with it, please. Also, do not forget, if you are into the audio uh, portion of the podcast, to check me out on Sprinker. It's real easy. All you have to do is download the episode you want to get, and I get paid for that. It's real simple stuff. Nothing comes out of your pocket. It's all about time. So we can all do that, right? Hey, Daniel. One person joined. Oh no. So, and with that, I just lost my train of thought, but that's okay. That's okay. Let me do this right quick too. Let me remind you guys, if you are watching and you have not subscribed to my channel, which is quite a few of you guys because I see the numbers all the time, then click that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to like, share, and comment. Um, with that, I want to introduce you guys to a very special guest. He is all the way from Texas, and he has some really great experiences, not only with cryptids, but with the paranormal. Guys, welcome to the stage, Steamboat. Hey, my friend.
Hey, how are you?
Dude, doing well. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, man. I'm doing blessed. I'm feeling blessed. You know, if some of y'all probably know, y'all might keep up with what's been going on with me, but I've been through a surgery recently, and I had a blood clot from a surgery in 2020, and I didn't know it, and I feel a lot better now. So I'm doing good. I just had to have emergency surgery, so it's kind of scary, but you know, everything worked out.
Right, right. Yeah, I
What's
was
up,
keeping up
brother?
with that. Yeah, Daniel popped in tonight.
Yeah, I can't see the chat here because I tried to do it, but I had to log in on my YouTube through the StreamYard, but my Google wouldn't let me do it or something. So I can't see the live chat. So if y'all are trying to get a hold of me, I'll watch afterwards. And, you know, I'm sorry if I don't get back with you, but.
I'll try to pop on the comments as they come. So do me a favor, tell us a little bit about yourself, and tell us a little bit about your channel.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm just a normal man, I'd say. Well, maybe not normal. There's my mama. But you know, I'd say I'm pretty abnormal maybe. I got a weird life. I don't know. I've seen a lot of things, and I've been through a lot of things, and I'm just blessed just to be here. So, um what is in my chat saying, "Hey, Eric." Okay, bad Farva. but but yeah, I'm I'll be 36 this year, and I mean, the first time anything weird happened to me as far as like Bigfoot goes and stuff, I didn't think Bigfoot was real at all and stuff, but I saw one walk across a little field in front of me, and I didn't really even think anything of it, but I was like, that's weird. And it screamed when it got back there and stuff. My buddy heard it, so I was like, maybe I'm not tripping, but I thought I was. And after that, the next time is when everything changed. That was when I got chased on my motorcycle at Lake Wright Patman by a big ape and it actually shapeshifted whenever I was sitting there looking at it.
Wow.
In the middle of open piece of grass in between the dam and the woods on the little boat ramp road. And yeah, it shapeshifted into something that looked like a full grown alpaca with like really shaggy hair and deer antlers. And then it was in that form for about 3 seconds or 2 seconds, I'd say maybe. And it seemed like forever, but it was like that. And I was taking off on the motorcycle at that moment, and it changed right back into the big, hairy, nasty ape with moss all over it and stuff, big black obsidian eyes and stuff. And whenever I saw it, I pulled up next to it and realized it wasn't a human. That moment right there, if I ever get a time machine, I don't care. I'm going back to that moment with a camera, and I want y'all to see how scared I was.
Wow.
I went through 2 years of PTSD over this, and like I'm still nervous when I go in the woods. And I used to fish at nighttime out there at the lake all the time, and I'd go out there and explore the woods by myself all the time, no weapon, nothing, you know. And I don't think they're really that bad. I don't know if it scared me at that time because it chased me, and I barely got away. I mean, I could have touched its nose.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, when I pulled up next to it. I mean, I thought I was pulling up on a hunter that was facing away from me, kind of crouched like that in a ghillie suit. I'm thinking he's injured. I'm about to step off the bike and be like, "You okay?" You know? And it looks up and it's like head's this wide and it's got big black eyes and no white on the eye at all. And I went, and I screamed and I just took off. But that's when it jumped backwards and shapeshifted and stuff. But and I've got some other pretty good evidence as far as you know, some video and stuff. Like I know you probably know about the Samson video that I got the video from my buddy's yard where the Sasquatch was walking behind the fence and he bent over and got a raccoon out of a trap on a security camera, and he walked back with that raccoon and walked out of the picture. But that is probably the best evidence I've collected as far as that I put out there and stuff. And I presented that one on the Cryptid podcast with Daniel Hamilton on there, Big Bad Florida. And yeah, that was just pure luck that he hit me up with that video. It's just one of my buddies, and he's like, "Hey," he called me about 3 or 4 months ahead of before that. He's like, "Hey, I saw one of those things you talk about all the time. I believe you now. I saw one in my backyard over there." And I was like, "Well, I believe you." And he said, "I'm going to get my camera and I'm just going to point it over just a little bit to where I can see the edge of the woods over there and stuff. Because if he comes back, I might be able to see it." And that, yeah, the video is crazy, man. It's in the still shot I have where I zoomed in on it and I kind of did the contrast a little bit to where you could see it better, but I didn't change anything on the picture itself. I just did the little lighting on it and made it look better. But that's a pretty good shot of it. You can see his ear, you can see his eyes, his mouth, his nose. Mm-hmm. And now I believe in the mind speak and all that. I've had mind speak happen to me. Yes, hit the like button, y'all. Subscribe, man. Daniel.
Yes.
Daniel got Daniel's back, and Daniel's a good guy, and Daniel is a good guy.
We have Daniels everywhere tonight. So let me ask you, because you have had a lot of stuff go on, and you, dude, like one of the most fearless people I've ever seen. It's like some of the stuff that you put yourself into is absolutely cray cray.
Thank you. I mean, that's a compliment. That's a compliment to me. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to go out there every night on a motorcycle and look around and stuff. I mean, it really does. You pull up to a spot, and sometimes I'll pull up to a spot and I'll be like, yeah, my hair's standing up. I'm out of here, you know. And
Yeah, tell them what your favorite time to go out is.
well, that would have to be probably 3:30 in the morning. Yep. If I'm going out and I want to see something that night and I want to go out and I want to have some action going on, I'll go to some of my special spots. And I usually, whenever I go to these places, it's usually about 3 in the morning or so. And I do that on purpose because it's just, I don't know about if they're just more, you know, nocturnal, or if they're either passing through a veil. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to figure it out. Since I got chased in 2022, I've been a hardcore believer, and it changed my life. I mean, it affected my life pretty bad. I mean, I like totally changed from the person that I was before that to fishing every day and out there in the night and all that. But I had to find out what the heck chased me, and I wasn't going to stop until I figured it out, because I had these reoccurring flashbacks and these just like anxiety attacks and panic and stuff like that when I'd go in the woods over this thing chasing me. And the face that I saw, it was like, you know, when you look at like on the Grinch, how his face, his little hairs and stuff, it's like, it's so real, but it was like, it's not a human. And it's the only thing I could say, I was like, it was a monster, you know. And I don't know, it wasn't a patty type Sasquatch, if you want to know that. It looked more like a mutated orangutan to me. It had like a fold of skin around its face, like with the edge of it, kind of like a orangutan, but not like a big male orangutan, but maybe just like that. But it had smaller ears, human-like ears that were smaller, and I've got a picture of it. You can find all my stuff on that channel right there on my YouTube channel. It's just Steamboat, and I have that channel, and I just post things that interest me. And I've got Pixie, my dog. She's on there all the time. She's probably the most famous thing on my channel, but she's Pixie. Come here. Laying down up there. Come here. Come on.
She's like, you're gonna put me on that camera again.
Come on. Yeah.
Aww.
Pixie. She's my baby dog. See, I can just.
She knows what you're trying to do.
Yeah, she's
like, yeah, you're trying to put me on that camera again. Yeah. Aw.
Yeah, she's my baby. But I don't know what I'd do without this dog.
You've got a lot of really good. There's several shots of her like running through the woods with you.
Oh yeah, I love
it. Seen.
And I've got my cat too. And I live out there. I'm a bit blessed with staying out on some property out there, and I got quite a few acres of woods behind me and stuff. And there's these cats out there in East Texas that they aren't known, and they're not a in the book species. Now, I guess you could say it's a cryptid. Honestly, they're unidentified, yet to be known species in the area, either invasive or maybe they are native, but we just haven't found that many of them. Maybe they're that rare. I don't know. But the black panthers they've been talking about out in the East Texas area and stuff is what I thought they were was a jaguarundi, but I looked into that with more detail, and those look like a weasel cat or something. It's not like that. That's not what I saw after I got to looking at it. So if I said that and you heard it, yeah, I don't know. There's some like weird looking longer weasel face looking cats, but I don't know. They're weird. I
Interesting.
thought that was what it was, and then I got to research, and I had been given some different information and different pictures of them. And when I looked up what they looked like the other day, I was like, no, that can't be. It's not the same cat. These are. I would say that it's probably a black leopard. I mean, this
Wow.
cat. It might be bigger than a mountain lion. I don't know. I've seen mountain lions out here pretty close. We had one out by my mom's house. I walked straight out the gate from the pool, straight out there at nighttime, and I looked over and I saw something standing there. I didn't pay attention that close to what it was. I just saw a big bay colored thing. I thought it was a deer standing there, and I was like, yeah, it ran off. Its feet sounded a little heavy. And I stopped and I stood there for a second. And I looked again and I was like, that thing's got a tail, you know. And it got to the edge of the wood line and it turned around and it went, rah! And I was like, oh my God, I was right that close to it. It was 5 feet away from me when I walked out that gate. I mean, I thought it was, I'm so used to seeing deer out there. You can walk out that gate at any time in the night and you see deer out in that field, you know. So what? Are you talking to us? Huh? Yeah, she talks. I swear, the dog talks. You just gotta wait a minute.
So you are where you're at tonight because you're going to a conference tomorrow, correct?
Yes. I'm going to the 25th anniversary Bigfoot conference in Jefferson, Texas. Yeah, and Pixie's going too. That's what she's saying. Yeah. It could, you know, Ryan, it could be a black jaguar. When I saw, okay, yeah, I'm ADHD and I'm on some pain medicine right now. So if I get carried away, y'all just retract me and say, hey, what about that? Okay, because we didn't finish any of the stories yet. But the black cats, about 3 months ago, I walked out, or I was sitting in the house and I heard cats fighting outside. My cat was outside and I was like, okay. So I ran out there real quick and I was like looking, and they were in the driveway and there was 3 black cats jumping on my cat. And I don't think they were trying to hurt her or anything, but she was scared and she was, you know, doing they were all making the noises and stuff. And I looked and I was like, there's nobody around here with black cats. I even put a little Facebook post up like, whoever's got the black cats, please keep them on your property. They attacked my cat tonight. Nobody wrote back. And I didn't find that. But come to find out, about 4 or 5 days later, I go outside and me and Pixie are sitting there and I hear something behind me. I was kind of at the end of my house and I hear something behind me, and right next to where the gate is, there's a big, the high energy. Yeah, you can thank the doctors for that. Yeah, but yeah, there's a big pine tree, man, and she was sitting next to that pine tree, and she at her head, she was at least 3.5, 4 feet where her head was at the top of her head. Wow. And this is a big cat. I mean, like it looked like, I mean, it was a big cat, but it had the almost golden-ish like ghost pattern in it.
Oh, wow.
Where it was the leopard pattern, you know, it's like the print, but it was not all the way over the body, but in certain areas and around the head and stuff, it had that. So that, I don't know, man. They say that in the 1920s there was a train in this area that was hauling Barnum's and Bailey's circus and the animals and all that. And there were some big cats that got loose and stuff like that in the 20s around here. And I think it was actually right around this area where they got, where I'm at right now. But yeah, I live about 20 minutes from Fouke, Arkansas, where all the Legend of Boggy Creek and all that was. I've been to the house there. I've been to one of the family members where the property is right there, and she let us go out there at night. She said, "Come back anytime, Steamboat." You know, I need to go out there and see her again. But yeah, she's just cooler than the other side of the pillow, man. Those people are just as normal as we are. They just went through some stuff, and and they weren't afraid to tell you about it. You know,
Right.
that's one thing. There's a lot of people in this world that see things and have experiences and stuff like that, and they won't open up about it just because of
Right.
one thing or another. But
Well, yeah, there's too many people that get critical about that.
yeah, it's just a big cover up. If you really want to just tell the truth, they're covering it up because they know about it. I mean, the whole Lake Rat-Patman, where there is like, and this is according to Mind Speak that somebody else had received while I was around. There's 15 non-blood related cryptids that live around Lake Rat-Patman, Texas, and I don't know
Wow.
how far it goes into. They didn't give details as far as if it's Sasquatch or Thugway or Dogman or Star People, anything like that. But the shape-shifting people, star people, that they're at Berry Farm on Lake Rat-Patman in Texas. That's where I got. You can find most of the stuff I'm talking about on my channel, but there's a black and white little short video of the pictures where I freeze framed from frame to frame of this little clip of video, and they shapeshift from like the star people to the bird people, the avian people, and the I don't know. This is crazy. It's pretty crazy. I didn't believe what I had when I got it. I was like, what is this? You know, it took me a long time to figure out that was a actual cryptid that I got a video of. What are you talking about? You want to lay? She's wanting up here in a blanket, I'm sure. So. There we go. She'll talk to me. So will the cat, though.
Right.
But yeah, so that there's so many stories that with the Bigfoot and stuff. I mean, I still had experiences that I really haven't even got the chance to talk about and stuff. But I mean, if you ask me, and if my life depends on it, and you really want the truth, these creatures are real, and there's no doubt about it. I don't know what it is about why I've had so many experiences with them. Besides, for 2 years straight, I went out almost every night looking out there on the motorcycle and going out to these specific areas that are hotspots in my area almost every time I got the chance, and I can tell you there's a Sasquatch at Lake Rat-Patman, and he's 13, 14 foot tall.
Jeez.
His footprint is 22 inches. I've had a sighting of him with a witness there with me.
Wow.
And the witness to all the trails up the hill. There was 40 footprints going up the hill in the dew in the grass.
Jeez.
So there's no way you can tell me that wasn't real. But it was like right when it got to the edge of the woods, it just went and it disappeared into the brush, and I looked and looked and looked and never saw it again. And it made the deer that it was standing around look like mediums to small sized dogs.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and that was at Jackson Creek at Lake Rat-Patman. There's like a little boat ramp down there, and if you go around this little trail where they camp around and stuff, it just makes a loop right there where the opening is trees, but it's cleared out brush wise. And he was in the middle of that whenever I saw him, and he walked from the top of the hill where the bathrooms are and went down to the edge of the water and went through the brush right there. And there's a big tree there that was twisted up about a week or less after that happened. Because after I saw it, I was like, oh man, I was out there every day after that, And I was like, I know you're here now,
Right.
But once I have a sighting of one, and I get the time that it's around and stuff like that, because I'll go out in the daytime and stuff too, and it's been just as successful in the daytime. I really don't think that there's a difference really, as far as going out at nighttime. I just think it's better for them to get closer to you at nighttime, they get braver at nighttime, as far as you can't see them, but they can see you. And the Sasquatches can see infrared, and that's a fact. I found that out with my own scientific testing. And I mean, it was an accident, but it proved it. You know, so yeah, they can definitely see you when you can't see them. And I think they can do a lot more than we know about. I know they can
Definitely.
They can shapeshift. Some of them can. I don't know if all of them can. I've only seen one do it, and it was not a patty type. It was different, you know. So, but that was like 20 miles of water to Boggy Creek. You know, I mean, the Sulphur River bottoms, all that area, the Lake Wright Patman area, all the way down to Caddo Lake, Falk, Arkansas, Mercer Bayou, all of that is just it's covered in these things out here. I've had my mom's chickens get stolen from us, and there's no way that it would have been anything else but a big walking upright creature, because my mom and grandma were in the front yard in the house at the house, and they heard the chickens going crazy, and then all of a sudden it got quiet. Well, they went back there. By the time they went back there, they could see there was pieces of chicken in a trail thrown all through the yard, where it ripped up the chickens like this. But it punched in the top of the door on the chicken coop and reached in and grabbed 9 chickens with one swipe and killed them, left 2 dead ones out there outside the door, and was ripping them apart and eating them on the way around the bushes. And when they came around the house, they could still see the feathers floating down from where it walked around the bushes with them. So you tell me that wasn't, you know, I mean, what else could have done that? I mean, if it was something else that would have tried to get in there, it wouldn't have punched in the top of the door. And how would it grab 9 chickens like that? I mean, they heard it happen. It was early morning or midday, really. I guess it was probably around noon or something. And just broad daylight, and they'd come and rob our chickens. It was sad.
It's crazy, yeah, and very scary, because it's like, you think about it, I mean, they just pretty much have dominion over whatever it is they want.
Well, my mom was like, what are we gonna do now? And I said, well, you better get some more chickens so it's not hungry.
Feed that thing.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, because you've talked to me some about having paranormal experiences, and I really want to get into that a little bit with you, because I know, just based on the cryptid experiences you've had, those are pretty insane, but I imagine some of the paranormal stuff is pretty crazy too. Before we get into that, though, if you have followed us this far, I want your opinion on some of the things we're talking about tonight. So if you live in Texas especially, have you experienced some of the big cats that Steamboat has talked about tonight? And if so, what did you notice about them? Give us a little bit of a description, and let us know what your experience was with them. So in the comments below, please.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm interested in getting a video of these cats, because as of right now, until somebody brings in a body, dead or alive, it's not a known, recognized species in Texas. And it's in my backyard, and there's 3 kittens and a mother, I know, at least. So, I mean, and I found a deer skull out there with the muzzle of it crushed off of it. It was an old bleached out skull, but it was back in the woods. And so that means that that big cat was chomping down on that thing's nose, suffocating it when it killed it. And that means that she's hunting out there. So she's been there a while.
Right. So tell us a little bit about these paranormal experiences you've been having.
Okay. Well, see, it took me a long time to even really get open to the possibility that, you know, it could be real. I mean, I'm kind of believed in, you know, that kind of stuff, but I never thought I'd have, like, you know, an experience with ghosts or anything like that. Or I would even believe it if I, you know, if somebody told me. You know, it's like when I grew up, Bigfoot was a myth. You know, it's none of the stuff. It was all fairy tales, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But we were raised a certain way by certain people that want us to think a certain way, and you know, it's some people were raised around them and some weren't. And I just happened to not be raised around where they were, and I just heard about it and then had the experience and just got hooked. And now I just can't stop looking for crazy out of the ordinary, you know, out of the ordinary kind of things going on. But the paranormal stuff, I guess I had my first paranormal kind of sighting, I guess you could say a ghost sighting, in, well, I was back when I was 17, I guess, and I was working, and I was in a house, and it's a big house, and it's out by White Rock Lake near Dallas, and there is a urban legend about this lake out there, and it's the Lady of White Rock Lake, and she's known to be picked up hitchhiking in a white dress, and she'll tell you, I need to get home. I've been trying to get home, and my house is this way. Take me down there. And you go down there with her, and you pull up in front of the house. She says, this is the house. And when you turn and look, you look again, and nobody gets out of the car, but there's just a puddle of water in the seat where she was sitting. And they're like, what the heck is going on? And this has happened to many people, that it's, you know, it's been known to happen at least a dozen times. And they'll say that when they pulled up to the house, some of them had knocked on the door, and they said, I just had a lady in my car that I picked up, and she said she lived here, but then I don't know where she went. Did she come inside? Or they say, oh, you're talking about our daughter, and I think she died probably back in the 70s or 80s, and she drowned in the lake, and people have been picking up her ghost since then and taking her ghost home, and when she gets there, she's not there, you know. And the parents have had to explain it to people, like, you know, this happens all the time. But that's not the experience I had. Now, the house that I was working at, we were doing some insulation and stuff up under the house and all that, and in the attics and stuff like that. And the house was built in 1911, and it had a basement, and it was real nice, beautiful house. I mean, it was beautiful. I would love to have a house like that, but I'd want it way out in the woods. But yeah, I was looking for the homeowner at the time, and I was like, ma'am, and I knew that there was at the top of the stairs, it goes up the stairs, and then it turns, and then it goes up another little bit, and then there's the master bedroom, and then there's a closet that has the attic in that end of it, and then there's a closet on the other end that has an attic in that end. And I was at the bottom of the stairs. I just walked in the door, and I had a cowboy hat on when I was working, and I mean, you know, OSHA and stuff. But yeah, I was looking, and I looked at the first flight of stairs, and I could see a lady's waist down in a white dress and some old black looking shoes, and she just looked like she had a white dress on that went down to her ankles and stuff. And I said, ma'am, and she just walked, and she'd ignored me. I said, ma'am, and I had that cowboy hat on, so I didn't raise my head up far enough to see her face, but it was just that quick. And then I said, ma'am, are you in there? And she didn't answer, and I kind of poked my head in there, and I was like, hello, you know, and it's kind of weird when you're in that position, because you're like, what is going on here? I know I just saw somebody walk in here, and I'm in, you know, it's an unfamiliar house. It's creepy sometimes. But yeah, the homeowner was actually down in the basement at the moment, and I went back downstairs after I kind of poked my head in the attic back there, and I looked in the other end, and there's nobody there, and I got freaked out, and I got goosebumps right now talking about it. And I went downstairs and I was like, I've been looking for you, but I swear, do you have somebody else in this house? And she said, no, there's nobody else in the house. It's just my husband and me. And I said, whoa, because she said, well, what happened? I said, I saw somebody at the top of the stairs wearing a white dress, and she walked up the other stairs, and I hollered for you. I thought it was you, and I didn't know because I could only see just the waist down with the cowboy hat on, and I said, are you sure there's nobody else in this house? She's like, I'm sure, but we've had some weird things happen. And that's when I kind of put together, and I was like, so you're telling me that I just saw a ghost? and she's like, you're not the first one to say you've seen something like that here. And I was like, that's all I could think about. I was like, and I remember it. I remember exactly what it looked like. It had some little lace kind of frilled bottom on the dress. It was an old dress. I mean, like she had just stepped right out. I mean, as real as I could be, but it was just a white dress. And yeah, so I believe that maybe that was her. I don't know how that house has anything to do with anything about that. But I mean, it makes sense, a white dress and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe she just, I don't know. Maybe she just kind of had a moment that she wanted to show. I don't know what was going on. I really don't know why something would show themselves at one point and not at another point, you know. But
she was wanting to get your attention.
Yes, exactly. And I don't know what it was though. I never figured out what she wanted my attention for, because it just weirded me out that I went up there and there was nobody up there, you know. I just saw you walk in here. Where are you at? Because yeah, that's just, I think about that all the time too. It's like something that I never really forgot that. I never really forgot the image of the bottom of the dress there and stuff. It's like fine detail in my memory now, you know.
Wow.
That was probably 20 years ago almost, you know.
Wow.
God,
yeah. Look, I am going to talk about being old.
But I've had a more recent kind of experience in the paranormal area. I was staying at one of my favorite locations to do research at, and I had nothing better going on. I had lost my job and done some other things, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to go take a little vacation out there, and I'm going to stay out there for a little bit and see what I can come up with, because I was looking for the Bigfoot and Sasquatches out there. I know they're there. They've shown me themselves. Like I said, I've probably seen to this day, I've probably seen about 30 different firsthand Bigfoot related kind of sightings. And
Wow.
and it's only because I go out there and I put myself out there in these positions at a regular scheduled kind of time, stuff like that, to where you gain their trust, and you know, go out there with an open mind and just go, hey, Sasquatch, if you're out here, just let me know. You know, talk to them. You know, you never know. I think that the spirits and stuff you can talk to them too. I know I've watched your show a lot, and you've had some awesome people talk about some things that just opened my mind to how big this whole thing is and how much we're really missing in our day-to-day lives. You know,
very much. Much.
But when I was out there at that location, I was watching a video on my phone. It was Danny Duncan. Shout out Danny Duncan on YouTube, and I was watching Danny Duncan on there, and it was just passing time and stuff. And my phone, you could see where it had the spot where you could, when you click on my phone, it has like a circle right there where you click. If you tap it you can see the circles follow you around, kind of. So it was doing that, but it was clicking forward, backwards, forward, backwards on the
Wow.
YouTube video, making it skip back and forth. And I said, okay, look, whatever this is, you got my attention. What do you want? And I mean, seriously, I said it out loud like that. And I wasn't trying to be sarcastic or anything. I really saw that something was touching all over and I'm thinking, if they're watching me, but they're trying to get my attention. I don't know. Who knows with phones these days? You know what I mean? Who knows what they could be doing, everything. So, but at that moment I said, okay, you got my attention. Now you're going to make me mad, but what? and the video skipped a little bit forward, a little backwards, and forward to a spot, and it stopped right there, and it pressed play like this. Though it was like burp, 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 and it played, and it said, "We are here together," is all the words that it said on that part. And then it skipped forward, skipped backwards, skipped back forward, backwards, back to another spot that was further ahead or further before that in the video that said, "What are we going to do now?"
Oh, wow.
When it did that, I was at a loss for words. I was like, whatever this is, I don't know if it's somebody on the phone, if it's something in the area, like, if it's a spiritual thing, but when I said, "You got my attention, what do you want?" It said, "We are here together. What are we going to do now?" And that place where I was at, it happens to be a local spot that is known for being haunted. And while I was actually there was about 3 people that showed up in the middle of the night just to visit the haunted place.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, but I had permission to be there, and I paid the electricity when I was there, so it was all good. But yeah, and when that one when they walked in there, I was in one of the rooms, and I was just sitting there like this, and I was just sitting there, and I heard people come in. So I'm like, I wonder what this is. And it was some 21, 22-year-old kids, and it's like a couple of dudes and one of their girlfriends or something, and they were making some noise, and they said, "Oh man, they left the lights on for us." And I said, let's see if they come in here. And that one dude cracked the door, opened it up just a little bit, and he looked up and he said, "Ah!" And I saw his face, and he had long hair. Man, he turned into something else, and he ran to the door to get out of that place before I could make it out of my chair to even get to the door to say, "Hey, I'm not messing with you. I was just chilling here. I'm doing some Bigfoot research and stuff." But and that was funny, man. And yeah, they ended up being really good people and stuff. But he said, "Man, you scared me so bad." I said, "All I did was just sit there and I looked." I didn't try to scare him, because if I did, I knew I was going to give him a heart attack. So, no, you're good.
Wow.
But yeah, that was fun. But at that specific location, I have a video on my YouTube that is this one that's in Southwest Arkansas. It says, and there's a couple of clips of it, but there's one that says, in the beginning of it, it says, "And this gate was closed at the time," whenever I'm talking. But I got a video of a Sasquatch. I had just talked. Yeah, get that. I had just talked to Daniel Hamilton from the Cryptid podcast. I had just talked to him on the phone, and I was looking around, and I looked in the edge of the woods, and I saw something walking back and forth back there in the edge of the woods, and it was dark. And I was like, I even said to it, I was like, hey, I see you out there. You ain't got to try to hide. And I thought I was talking to a person that was out there. And it wasn't very likely that there was going to be a person out there. But, you know, at that moment, it just looked like somebody in maybe just black sweatpants and stuff or something, you know. But I noticed it kept going back there and it wasn't moving. Yeah, I was hyped at the moment. And then I've had, don't let me forget, I've had some side effects from that sighting to this day, and I still have them. But yeah, I went and I said, dude, I gotta go. I'm looking at something right now, and I'm gonna get a video of it. So I got it was an Android, and it was a crappy camera and stuff like that. It's bad quality, I know, but I know what I was looking at, and for me, it was a score just to actually get what I was looking at on video, even if it's not the best quality. You know what I mean? Because it's so hard to get real evidence, and you know, there's so much AI crap out there now, and you know, which is awesome, I think, but you know, yeah, I don't even want to get into that. But yeah, so I ended up getting a few minutes of video on that creature, and it was making this clicking noise. It was like, I don't know, Daniel Hamilton can do it pretty good. I've heard him and recreate it, and I was like, that's the noise. But yeah, so it was making this clicking noise in the video, and whenever I felt like I had been affected by it, it was kind of behind a tree, and it had it like this, or it had its arm around it like this, and I could see its head sticking out from behind the tree. And it almost looked like it had a hair bun, like a man bun or something on the top of its head, like a bun.
Wow.
And it looked maybe like it was a juvenile or younger, you know, maybe preteen or something. And because it was probably already 5.5, 6 feet tall.
Jeez.
And there was a mound out there, and it was about as tall as that mound, and that mound was right up here with me. So I know it was pretty good size, but I know how big they get, so I know it wasn't a full grown one. And whenever it was behind that tree and it did that, it bent down like this and just kind of covered itself like that. And that's when the video stops. The video stops right there, because when I started recording, my phone was at 80%. And I was sitting there watching it. I was looking at my battery like, good, I got enough battery. I can get some video of this. And when I started to record and I got closer, I got within like 50 yards. I got within like 50 yards of it. And I was telling it, you're doing good. I can see you on camera. I can see you on the camera. Thank you. I mean, you know, I was seriously talking to this thing because I would know what I'm talking to. They know exactly what we're saying. And I was thanking it and telling it it's doing a great job for letting me get this image of it, because it's not very common that they'll either let you sit there and watch, or if they'll even show themselves if they know you have a phone or a camera. But I went out there regularly, and I guess they knew me. So, and I was being very thankful of it, and I wasn't scared at the moment, and until my phone, I looked at it in the video, it stopped and it said battery too low to continue. And I said, wait a minute. Yeah. I looked up and it was at 4% and it was about to die. And I went, my phone was just at 80% right now. You know, I had moved 10 feet and it had changed to 4%. And that's when I started to feel like it just like all the blood flushed out of my body almost. I got kind of nauseous. I was lightheaded. I got to where that clicking sound was like a click, but it was like it affected me. Like there was another sound with it, like infrasound or something. If it was the sound that was doing it, I don't know. I still am not fully convinced that it's infrasound or that it can be even explained, you know, like radiation or something. I don't know, you know.
Wow.
Pam, you're awesome. I really, y'all have been awesome. I tell a lot of people about your show, and y'all have always been awesome to me. I really feel like y'all are good people, and that's why when you said you had nobody to come on tonight, and we were already planning on doing one in the near future, I was like, man,
Right.
come on there. We've got Wi-Fi right now, so. but yeah, it gets pretty crazy. There's some things out there, you know. I've
Yeah.
seen in Dallas over in Garland, Texas. I saw a muzzled, large, about 5.5, 6 foot tall werewolf kind of dog man kind of creature in a tunnel down there one day on camera, and then the camera got stolen out of my buddy's van, or by my buddy, I guess. You know, when you show them a video like that, they're like, I should have been paying better attention. Yeah, I was on the phone, and I told you, I said, I got to get off here so I can get this on video, man. Let me call you right back. And I sent the video straight to him. But yeah, it's crazy. It's hard to tell what it is, though, man. You know, if you were there, you'd been like, holy crap. But the video quality, it's like, you know, I mean, there's a lot of questionable video quality and stuff. It's just typical for Bigfoot sightings. It's like, what camera do we have? The one with the broken lens.
Right.
But I got an iPhone now, so it's a little better quality, and I got good capability for taking video, and I've been using that. And speaking of that, there's a video on there, one of my more recent videos. I was trying to chase down one of these black cats, and I saw it when I walked outside, and I heard it, and I fumbled my phone real quick, and before I could get the video on to get the video of it, which was my main goal, it ran off, and it was going row, row, row. Jeez. When it was running off like that, and I got the sound on the video, and I ran around there trying to find it, but it's like it just disappeared in the brush. I don't know where it went after that, but I was looking for it. And I really want to get those known out here. That's one of my goals, is to get these while they're on the property where I'm staying at. You know what I mean? Shoot. What kind of chances are that?
Exactly. You have a lot of stuff that goes on out there.
Bro, I know I sound crazy. I know I sound crazy because I sound crazy to myself, and Daniel Hamilton knows about this too, and I'm pretty sure you probably heard about it too, but I'm going to tell you again. I saw a pterodactyl at like 4:30 in the morning when it had a bright moon out, and I got out there before it got hot, because with this blood clot that I just got taken out, I couldn't be in the heat, and I didn't know why. I just knew I couldn't be in the heat. So I went out there early in the morning when the dew was still out there and stuff, and it was cool to go out there and weed eat out there by the road and stuff like that, because it's hot out there in the day at that time. And so I was out there, and Pixie was probably out there with me. I'm pretty sure my cat was out there for sure. But I heard something, and it went like that, like a screech. Wow. And I look up, and it was a bright night. It was like full moon, bright night. I could see clear as day. Yeah, I live on the 33rd parallel, Pam. Yeah, I was going to talk about that. Yeah. 33rd parallel is definitely a good spot to go look for things if you want to find some crazy things. But yeah, I looked up, and to me, I thought it was probably closer than it actually probably was, because the dimensions of this thing were huge. I knew it was way bigger than a buzzard. And I'd say that when I saw it, I thought it probably had 10 or 12 foot wingspan, but now I'm thinking it probably had more of like a 20-foot wingspan from doing some research about what these things are, how big they actually are, because it looked like a plane up there almost when I was, and I couldn't tell if it was just that close or if it was that big, you know, but I saw it clear as I'm looking at you right now on here. I saw it just like I positively identified a long beak with a cone on the back of the head, and bat wings with the short legs in the back that are webbed with wing, and a small tail. A freaking Jurassic Park pterodactyl flew over my house, screeched, and it went in a circle around me one time, about 100-yard circle, and then it started to fly off towards the west. And I said, holy crap. I said, I've only heard about these things, but I've heard about them in like southeast Oklahoma, which is only like 60 or so miles from where I'm at, you know. So I was like, holy crap, man. I just saw a pterodactyl, and there's nothing you can tell me that tells me I didn't. I know what I saw. It was a 20-foot wingspan bat with a cone on the back of the head. I mean, it was
Wow.
It was unbelievable to me at the time, but I know I was sitting there looking at it. I mean, it was screeched, and I looked up, and the cat was looking at it when it screeched. I mean, it was like, I don't know. That's when I became a believer in pterodactyls, I guess.
Jeez. Yeah.
Probably 3 months ago or less.
Wow. Yeah. How can you not believe when you see something like that? It's kind of like, okay.
Yeah, yeah. And
there you are.
You know, I don't know what it is about. Maybe there's people out here that are like me, myself, may be one of these people that have a higher perception of what really is going on around us. And then there's maybe the lower perception people that kind of just go through life and they just don't poke at things like, you know, I don't want to figure it out. I just want to pay my bills, you know, stuff like that. I mean, I say that everybody's pretty perceptive, but why do some people have more experiences?
Right.
Why am I one that has had all this crazy stuff happen? And I put it on everything that I love, and I love the world. So don't think I'm lying to you when I tell you these stories. I'm telling you my testimony, not a story. This is the truth. And I have a hard time believing it myself. I've had an extraordinary life when it comes to some of the experiences I've had.
Definitely.
And when I moved out to East Texas out here, yeah, I was not a believer in 1% of what I believe in now. I mean, it's like the Bigfoot was people in stilts out in the woods, you know, and stuff like that. There was a suit, the man in a suit whenever it was Patty film. No, that's real. And that is 100% real, unless the same suit is still walking around, because that's what I saw, you know. But yeah, the 33rd parallel is, I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm not even in a qualified position to be talking about it. It's so weird. Because, I mean, you know, with the occult and stuff like that, you know, 33 is a weird number. And the parallel on the Earth, the 33rd parallel, seems to be just a hotspot. And it's lined up straight up with the Great Pyramid and all that. And it's, I mean, there's just some weird things. Stonehenge is on the 33rd parallel, I believe. And getting into numbers, I've talked a little bit about it, but I want to get it out there because I'm trying to put together some data almost of how many people have had sightings that are a life path number so-and-so, or, you know, there's 1 through 9, and then there's 11, 22, and 33.
Yeah.
And if your birthday adds up with all the single digits, including the 19 or whatever it is, or 20, whatever, when you were born, you know, youngsters, we're getting old, man.
Right.
I know, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. We were, you know, I was just a boy. But yeah, yeah, there's some weird things going on. And the weird part about it is I've had so many experiences as far as these unusual kind of things going on, and it could be that I'm just in the right area. Maybe I'm just, and there's not a lot of people out there that'll go outside at nighttime in this area.
Right.
The people that have lived there their whole lives, when that street light comes on, they go inside and they don't come back out. They're like, you go out at nighttime fishing at the lake? And I'm like, yeah, why? And they're like, I don't even go in my backyard at nighttime here, so,
Right.
Yeah, it's the 33rd parallel, something about it. But if my life path number, you can find your life path number through your name or your birthday. And both of mine happen to be 33. And that seems to be something to do maybe with if it's a higher perception kind of thing, that like I pretty much know everything going on around me, whether I say something about it or not is at my discretion, but you can't really fool me, you know what I mean? And I catch on to things real quick, but it's like a knowing. It's not like I'm sitting there trying to do it. It's just like it comes to me like boom. And it's just a gift, I guess, but it seems like it's a curse too, because I'm really empathetic. I walk into a room and I feel the energy of the room, and if it's not cool, I'm like, shut down, But yeah, I feel the vibes of everybody and stuff, and yeah, I think you're right too. The numerology and stuff. I think there's a pattern here because I've talked to a lot of people, and I don't know too many people that are 33. And I don't know anybody with a 33 on their name and their birthday. And my grandpa, though, was a 33. And yeah, it's just I think that there's just a level of, maybe it's not just perception as far as, human activities and day-to-day things. Maybe it's a more of a supernatural, spiritual kind of thing where these things can actually show or present themselves to certain people. Maybe not. Yep, Daniel's 30. He's a 3. Yeah, 3. Then, and the 33 is basically like an exaggeration of the 3, but it's really a combination of all, because it's the master number of the whole numerology things. And I try not to be like, oh, I'm a 33. It's I feel like there's things that we could learn from it instead of sitting there bragging about something that we might not even be talking about crap. It's like, but I just wanted. I mean. That's one thing. The people that have seen these things or heard these things, or I would like to get some information gathered up about the life path numbers and how many of us are 33s that are into this kind of thing, or how many of us are in, we might have a bunch of 6s or 7s or something and no 10 or no 8s, and we never know. Some people might not be susceptible to it. My buddy has lived out here his whole life, and he still wants to fight me every time I tell him Bigfoot's real. He's like, it's not real, man. And I'm like, you got to see it to believe it. But yeah, you'll see it.
Right. And that's one of the things.
A 12 would be a 3. See, if you were to add up your numbers on your birthday and it would equal 12, then you would add 2 plus 1 at the end until it breaks down to a I think my blood type is O negative or something, but I'm not positive. That's yeah, no pun intended.
I was trying not to go there, but you went there.
Good job, Steamboat.
So one of the things that I really want to emphasize here is that definitely there are a lot of experiences that are going on there, and that you seemingly are one of those people that's kind of like a magnet of this sort of thing, which I understand because that tends to be how it runs with me as well.
Well,
Uh,
when I got chased and that PTSD hit me and I couldn't figure out what chased me, and I was just every single day it was just like, what was that? It drove me crazy.
right,
And that's what drove me to being out there so much. I was one of the people that was not afraid to go out at night and be on a motorcycle and go sit out by the lake and just holler out for Sasquatch or whatever. But it still terrified me. Don't get me wrong. I never got more than 10 feet away from my bike after that for a long time.
right.
And I liked being in cars too at that time. And I don't like riding in cars. But there's a lot of people that know me, and you can ask them if if I'm telling the truth. Yeah, I've shown multiple people their first cryptid. You know, found footprints. Um, found footprints on several different occasions, but I haven't got any castings. I wasn't carrying plaster at the time, but these ones that I got, the juvenile footprints on my short videos, they were just, I mean, you could see the dermal ridges on it. You could see the hair around the ankles where it had stepped on the hair kind of and left an imprint of where the hair was around it because it was
Wow.
wet. It had just walked out of the water, and I was right around the corner from it when it was doing it because the mama was up here on the hill trying to get my attention. And I thought I was disturbing the hunter out there or something, and it wasn't a hunter. It was the mama of the juvenile that was walking down the ditch right around the little bend right there. When he got out of there, she was probably, but she distracted me enough to where I slowed down, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you," and nobody answered me. I thought it was a hunter, and it looked like almost the leafy kind of camouflage or something, but it wasn't
Right.
camouflage. When I got to looking at it deeper, I was like, I think we got something going on here.
Wow.
But that's a hot spot there too. But I've known she's got twins. She's got two juveniles that were born, I would say, in 2023. Because they were young when I saw them. Because I mean, the footprints were smaller than my hand, but they went in deeper than my footprints into the sand. So they were heavy. They were like made of, I don't know, man. They're made of solid muscle. I bet that. I mean, you could just imagine picking one of these things up. You expect to pick a 5-foot person up, and it's like, oh yeah, it's going to be heavy. But you try to pick up one of these things at a 5-foot Sasquatch,
Jeez. Yeah.
you're probably going to hurt yourself for sure. Because I mean, the way that they leave footprints and stuff, and you can go out there and test it yourself when you find them. They're so deep into it's like I had to push, and my foot still wasn't deep as that.
Wow.
But I'll get some good plaster casts one day. I have had a little dry spell with the Sasquatches this year since that thing. See, I almost forgot. That's why I said remind me to tell you about how I was affected by it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ADHD as it gets, man. But so yeah, when that thing zapped me, I've been having deja vu probably 10 times a day, if not more, since then. Seriously, like I noticed it the day that it happened. I started going, man, I feel like I've been here, but I feel like I've done this before.
Wow.
And it would happen, and it would be like, that's weird. And I'd keep on going. But even looking at my stitches right here on my arm, every time I look at this one stitch right here, I have deja vu. I go, I know I've had this before. Like, it's weird. I have the deja vu. Every time I look at that, it's like I've had that stitch before many a times. Like, It's weird, weird, weird. And I've never seen a stitch like that. They got like the vein that they took out of my leg stitched up to the skin on to where my arm is to keep the vein from moving back and forth and stuff. And that's a weird stitch. And I've never had a stitch like that, but it just looks so familiar. It gives me this deja vu feeling every time I look at it.
Wow.
But it happens all the time now. And it didn't happen to me that often before. It was kind of a weird, different kind of thing. When it did happen, I'm like, I think I feel like I've been here before. You know, it's how I always felt like I was on the right path. You know, I was like, if I've been here before, then I must be going in the right direction, you know. But I don't know, you know. And I've talked to you about reincarnation and stuff before.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm not going to get too far into the details of who I was, but I was reincarnated. And I believe that most of us have been, if not all of us. And I know who I was. I have memories from the late 1800s and early 1900s. I remember when I passed away when I was this person. And the person that was a very high, a very powerful person. He was a 32nd degree Mason, and his grave services were held by the Knights Templar in 1924. So, yeah, I nobody told me about this person, but I found out through my own research the history of my family and all that, and this person kept just calling out to me it was like something was just, it would make me sit there and find out more and more about it. And when I started to remember things, I started to put it all together. And then some of the places I've been going out here my whole life, I didn't know it, but that's where I was raised. That's where I was born on that land. That's where I died out there, you know. Like I remember when I died and I was looking at the floor, it was a hardwood floor with a little bit of space in the gaps of the wood. And, you know, I could see it, but when I died, it was almost like it was like a salvia trip or something. Everything turned to like colors, like primary colors, and like Lego-ish almost kind of stuff. And I remember dying, you know, but I found out. I think I knew immediately that was me whenever I saw the picture, and I felt it, you know. And I found out about that person when I was like 19, I guess, or something like that. And yeah, so it's just weird. What's even weirder is I'm like a magnet to cool rocks. I don't know how it happened. You've seen some of my rocks.
Right.
I don't have my whole collection here with me. It's in a safe spot, but I got a little bit of some of the cool things I found. And I believe, I don't know if I should even say anything. It's just because I believe that I put this collection where I found it, but me in my past life. I'm crazy, okay? You can certify me now, whatever. But yeah, I've got some just like I find meteorites all the time, man. Like this is a meteorite. And this, believe it or not, was in my driveway. And this is one of the more rarer types. I even ground a little window down into it right there to see the inside of it. And if you cut like slices of this, you'd be able to see through parts of it, like gemstones and stuff in it almost. And this is an achondrite lunar or Martian meteorite.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But also about the 33rd parallel, Did you know that Arkansas was connected to Northwest Africa?
Huh. That's wild.
And that was back when, I guess it would be called like Pangea or something, you know, like back when when it was a landmass, I guess. You know, I mean, it all makes sense because when I find these meteorites out there and stuff, because I've got an eye for them, I just know what they look like. And knowing what they look like will help you more than anything else. Not a magnet, nothing like that. You just got to go out and you got to know what they look like when you see one, pick it up. But I've done a lot of tests. This one's non-magnetic, but non-ferrous, I should say. It should be more scientific. but yeah, I found many meteorites, and I found like some pretty rare types. I've got a lot of the kind of picture stones kind of stuff, but like I found some cool things like this. That's a big goshenite. That's a white beryl. That's what emerald is.
Wow.
And that's a 23 karat goshenite.
Wow.
And get this, where all this stuff was, this right here is rutilated quartz, tourmalated or rutilated quartz. You see
Oh,
it?
yeah. Yeah.
That's the only one I've ever found. But these and some meteorites and stuff were all in one little location that I was digging right there that I knew that I needed. It was a draw to me like a magnet. Just it pulled me there, and I just knew I needed to look at them rocks.
Wow.
And when I did, and I found some stuff, I had gone and took some rocks home and looked at them and stuff, and I got to studying this one from that spot. And I mean, I'm not going to go into the name or anything, but the stone, when you looked at it with the light shining down at it like this, it said I, and it had a heart, and it said YOU, and then it said the first initial and my family's last name under that. And it was really worn where you could barely tell what it was, but you could see in the perfect cursive penmanship kind of thing that he had going on. His E was written that way and everything. It was like the letters matched up with how I believe that I put that rock there, and that was a message to myself in the future. Like I said, you can lock me up in the loony bin now, you know. Where's the straight jacket? Okay. But it's weird. And is it just because is it because of numerology? Is it because of astrology? Is it because of, you know, I don't know. What could be the factor that makes all this happen to me?
Right. I think it could be a combination of things.
I feel very special, though, you know, to have all the experiences I've had, and knowing that I'm not sitting here making up stuff, you know, knowing that if you see something on my page and it's not just outright outrageous, just sarcasm, you know what I mean? Just like, you know when I'm joking and when I'm not. But when I'm saying this is a piece of evidence, that's why, I mean, my channel's not you've got a production kind of going and stuff. I've got nothing. I just upload these videos when I get them and stuff. I'm like, look at this.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I appreciate everybody that subscribes to my channel too. If y'all like to subscribe to it, I try to post as often as I can find cool things to post. If I don't see anything cool, I probably won't post. But you know, I'll put some pixie content up there. She's a cute little dog, man. She's probably my favorite part of the channel, if you ask everybody. But yeah, she's awesome. But man, I appreciate you appreciate you letting me come on here. I know we talked just recently about getting me on in the next month or two, but
yeah,
I saw your post up there. You said you had room for one more, and I was like, hey, I'm perfect timing.
Right. Yeah, it just happened that we had the last minute cancellation tonight. I'm glad we got a chance to get you on tonight for that. Um, trying to
Yeah, and
see.
if you haven't seen
There
my
we go.
my podcast that I've been on, you can check out. I've been on Sasquatch Theory. I've been on the Cryptid podcast. I've been on Mysteries Unknown, and I've been on Old Line Cryptids just recently. And sitting there, and I happened to be sitting on one of my friends' toilets, not sitting on it using it, just sitting on it in the bathroom because there was dogs in the house and they like to bark, and I needed a quiet spot to have an interview. so I was on the portal potty, and we were having a good time. But hey, whatever works, man. When you live out here in East Texas, you're lucky if you can get a phone signal to call your friend on the way to their house. It's tough to get phone signal out here, and doing the live streams and stuff like this. I'm just blessed this happened at the right time because I can use the Wi-Fi and all that, because I would not be able to do this at my house.
Right.
And I'm not a sophisticated person. I don't even have a TV. So I'm not, I've got friends that swear up and down I'm part Sasquatch, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
I have enjoyed having you on tonight, and I hope to get you back on in the future as well.
That'd be awesome, man.
As we start to close out tonight, what last words do you have for us tonight?
Just if I could say anything, just it's my last breath kind of thing. I'd say, man, just keep your eyes open and keep your mind open, because there's things out there that is going on that you wouldn't even believe, and I mean, from the stuff that I've seen and I know for a fact was there with physical evidence and witnesses with me and all that, I know for a fact. When I'm telling you about these things, you need to know that they're out there, because it will change your life when you find out. Yes. It will change your life when you find out. And that is why I've been on this wormhole of a trip, going through this endless supply of, cryptid encounters and all that. And Daniel Hamilton's awesome dude, man. We talk almost every day, and he's got me. I'm an admin on the Facebook group, on the Cryptid Podcast group, and a moderator on his live streams on YouTube. So don't be coming in there talking trash. I'll shut you down real quick. But yeah, we've got a cool community there, and that's where my buddy that come up and met me yesterday, he found me on there, and he's like, hey, I'm in the area, if you want, I'll stop by and say hi. Come on, man. It's one of my favorite things to do, because I say, even if it's just one person at a time, mm-hmm. if we can take a non-believer into even just a believer, that's good. But if we can take a non-believer and make a knower out of them, and this has happened to me before, and like my buddy and his son went out with me, just to go out to see if we could see one. Mm-hmm. And all three of us saw it at the same time. Wow. And he slammed on the brakes, and I said, did you see that? And his son said, I saw it. And I was like, wow. I saw it too. By the time we backed up a little bit, yeah, she'd already moved off. Hold on 1 second, because I'm about to pour my coffee. I done forgot about it. I got to rambling. It's good and cooled off by now. But yeah, I've got a lot of support from people, and with the surgery I've had recently, man, I can't tell you how happy I am to know that there's so many people that have been putting the prayers in and the good energy, and just taking the time just to say, hey, Steamboat, you're doing good. Hang in there, you know, because, man, this is my third major surgery. You know, it's hard on a body to go through all this stuff.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, especially whenever on that wreck, they only fixed my clavicle. They let my ribs grow back and how they wanted. They let my shoulder blade grow back how it wanted, you know. So I mean, I thought that the numbness and all that was going to be from my nerves or something where they cut it, and I just made every excuse up in the world that it could have been. But come to find out, when they scanned me and found that there was a blood clot like that behind my clavicle, and he said, "Oh, that's from your wreck." He straight up told me, he's like, "That's from your surgery that you had. You had a blood clot we didn't know about." But I had a punctured lung too, so you know, it could have been blood from inside the lung cavity or something. I don't know. I don't want to get too far into that. But it means a lot that y'all are praying for me, because it could have been a lot different. It could have been a lot different. I feel a lot better now, and you've kept in touch with me and stuff. I appreciate your friendship, man. Ever since I talked to you the first time, you've always kept up and just said, "Hey, you know, you doing all right?" Yep. See anything cool? Yep. But yeah, I sure appreciate you giving me the time and just having me on here. I figured, just by the seat of my pants, heck yeah, I'll go on. You need somebody, I'll be there. But man, everybody in the chat, I know I can't see your chat right now because whatever it was didn't let me, but it's a pleasure to have everybody coming, and I know y'all are saying nice things about me, or else.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But no, I've got so much love on everything I've been on, man. It's awesome. YouTube is changing the world, and it's the forefront of it. If you're gonna get your news somewhere, get it from a reliable YouTube channel, you know, or something like that, because it'll be like that when you get it. And but yeah, I believe 99% of the stuff I hear on the podcast and stuff, you know, I consider myself to be like a human lie detector almost. If I don't let you know that and you try to lie to me, I might let you get away with it a couple times before I go, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? I know you're lying. What?
Right.
You know, but yeah, it's cool because I can tell there's very few people that get on these things and actually are deceptive. You know, there's some, but there's very few. And I think you know, if you're sitting here taking the time to listen to this and do all that, I appreciate everything. But if you take one thing from me, man, just know that I believe almost everything that these people are talking about on here, whether it sounds crazy or not. There is strange things going on out here that I never thought I would see. So don't dismiss it, man. I freaking saw a pterodactyl fly over my head. I never thought I would have that sentence come out of my mouth ever.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, unless they just got so good with this technology that they're just doing things that messing with us. I'm just glad it didn't poop on me.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, or try to get me. I mean, it was huge, but yeah, that'd be some kind of guacamole there. Woo. But anyways, brother, appreciate you, man. And I'm not going to take up too much more of your time, but I sure appreciate talking to you.
I appreciate talking to you too. I'm going to go and pull this back and end out the night. But thank you again for coming on and sharing your experiences with us. And we will have you back for sure.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. And everybody, I love y'all, man. I know y'all are saying some good stuff about me.
Oh yeah.
I can't see the chat, but I know y'all are there.
Definitely.
All right, brother. You have a good night, and I'll try to keep y'all informed about how the Bigfoot conference goes, because
absolutely,
I know there's some pretty big names that are going to be talking and stuff, so I'm excited. So, it'll be my first Bigfoot conference, convention, anything like that. So I've never been to a cryptid convention or anything. So I've been to the Monster Mart. I mean, it's right down the road. But, you know, other than that, it's like, this is going to be cool. See people that know some things. And I feel very grateful that a lot of people will listen to me. And I've heard a lot of people talk about how much knowledge that I do have of these creatures and stuff like that. I mean, I've been bluff charged and stuff, you know. It's weird. Just, and I know I wish I could take everybody out there at least once and show them, you know, if anybody does want to come out to the areas that I'm talking about, you know, I mean, it's not out of the reach to contact me. So you can just get through on my YouTube channel. I think I've got a link to my email on there, and you can email me, steamboattx@gmail. But yeah, if anybody wants to go out there, you know, I'm a poor person, you know, I live off of the blessings of the earth. And I've been blessed, trust me, I'm okay. But yeah, if you spend the gas money to get out here and stuff like that, I'm going to do my best to put you on a first-hand sighting. And, awesome. You know, and depending on how good that sighting is, if you leave a tip, that would be cool. But, you know, hey, I would take people out there just to get it out there, man. If you don't believe, I want to get Joe Rogan out there, but I know he knows. He's just not able to say it. I know. He can't fool me. But, yeah, I'll ramble all day long. I started drinking my coffee now, so. No, I appreciate you, brother. Daniel, you've been awesome, man.
Thank you.
And we'll be back to talk about some more stuff. I got
absolutely
some stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna be right here, and I'll let you in the show, and I'll talk to you a little bit afterwards.
All right. Good deal. Thank you.
So I just get out. I just push the little back button here. I'll get off this.
Yeah, I can actually pull you out of there.
Okay, cool.
All right, guys, that was Steamboat, and I'm telling you, a lot of good information there. There was a lot of great information about the local area there. I'm curious about those big cats. I really am, because there's been a lot of stories about that, and a lot of stories about prehistoric birds as well that have come across my desk. So very curious about those. If you made it this far tonight, do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe. Not getting people subscribing that are watching the show. I see your numbers. Come on, hit that button. Anyway, also, if something resonated with you tonight and you really want to talk about it, or if maybe there was something that was said that kind of made you go, oh, yeah, I've experienced that, leave me a comment below and tell me about it. I'd like to hear from you. And yes, Koi Fi. Thank you, Pam. I appreciate that, because I always forget about Koi Fi. Not a good idea to forget about that. All right. I appreciate you guys. I love you. And may your journey always be magical.
I've waited for so long to see when you come back to me. Through the wars and battles that were lost, we're born again, it's you and me. The rest is history. Past lives. Past lives. Did we dance together have been lovers. We must have been something in our past lives.